My liege, be on your guard.
Wayward souls, hearken, for I will guide you. A new world is waiting.
Woo! That was exciting, right? Yeah. All right, well, hello, everybody. Welcome to SWC day number 2. Who's excited to be here? Me too. Me too. They let me appear. Can you believe that? My name is Titan Dandy. For those of you who have not watched the update notes, that's what I do. And they let me do it up here because they like making dreams come true. So I'm super excited to be kicking off this day 2. And I just got to do it once. I'm gonna do it one more time. That cool superpower that stage people have, which is asking obvious questions to get really obvious answers. So, are y'all ready for SMITE Year 11 and SMITE 2?
I'm so ready!
Okay, cool. That's good. That's what I was hoping y'all knew that because like we were all up late last night and you know I almost forgot to ask it. So super cool. So we have a lot of stuff to talk about today. Obviously, SMITE 2, huge announcement. SMITE Year 11 also going to be huge, and SMITE Year 11 has a lot of bridges between the two games, and we're excited to talk about not only those today, but all of the cool content that you can see in SMITE Year 11, and you'll get a preview of tomorrow with the show match. So y'all looked at the schedule, y'all seen that's coming, right? Yeah? Okay, good. We'll get ready for it. There's a lot of stuff you're going to be looking for, and we're going to kind of guide you through it today. So, as always, I've introduced them 100 times through 100 different shows. This is definitely the coolest, though. We got Aggro and Lermy here with me.
What's up,
Right?
everybody?
Thank you. They deserve that.
Appreciate y'all. Super excited to get you a preview of Year 11 Conquest and Year 11 Joust and Arena
beyond
and
it.
all
Many
the good
things.
stuff. Yeah, exactly. Just Year 11 of SMITE 1.
It's going to be great.
I mean, how has it been working through 10 years of SMITE to this point, you know? Like, y'all
Yeah.
have really done so much for SMITE in this insane year 10, all the seasons. Y'all excited for the future?
Always. I mean,
Absolutely.
this is what it's all about, right?
Yeah.
It's getting to put in months and months and months of work and then get to debut it for everyone. And hopefully everyone is just as excited as we are to get their hands on it and play
Yeah,
it.
dude. I remember when we first started, even planning for this, and the fact that we're here right now, about to talk about it, it's unbelievable.
Yep.
Yeah. Not to out myself, but like I was on the side of the stage like weeping during the keynote, the trailer for SMITE 2. So it was, it's just everything that's been worked on from so many talented people over just so much time. It's been a challenge, but we're here now, and we're excited to start sharing some stuff.
Yeah.
So how many people saw the keynote yesterday? Yeah? All right, that was really cool. There were some really cool people up there. So I'm going to start out talking about some stuff you might have seen there and going over it in a little more detail, starting with Divine Legacy. So Divine Legacy is a bit of a SMITE 1, SMITE 2, kind of a bridge we have going on. Essentially, it's a free thank you note for playing SMITE for so many years. It's going to be a whole bunch of free rewards that we're giving to everybody who plays SMITE throughout Year 11. It's going to be active the whole time because it's going to take you some time to earn all of the stuff. So first off, let's talk about what you're going to be getting from Divine Legacy. SMITE 1, you're going to be able to choose your own unlimited Tier 4 skin and unlimited T5 skin by progressing through the event. So if there was ever a T4 or T5 that you missed out on, you're like, oh, I wanted that one. Like, hopefully you're going to get it in Year 11. Beyond that, though, we have a lot of cool SMITE 2 stuff. And by cool SMITE 2 stuff, I of course mean 11 skins. And that's a lot of skins, and they're all so good looking. They're some of the ones that we look through the data. You know how much we like to look through the data. And we were like, all right, people love these skins. They've gotten so much play, they've gotten so much attention. We're gonna take these and bring them, give them the SMITE 2 treatment, bring them into this new game. And we're excited to, show you what some of those look like. We can't go in game for SMITE 2 yet. That'll be soon. We'll get there, soon in the future. But we got 11. So Cyber Geisha Izanami. Any Izanami fans? Oh, wow, a lot of y'all. Okay. Hunter players. All right. Next up, we have Eliminator Loki. Look at that red. All right, too many Loki fans. Keep it down. Stop that. All right, next up, Supernova Pele. Ooh, got the beach vibes. Digging it. On to number 3, we got your boy, Menchaco Ymir. All right, Ice Cream lovers, Ymir lovers. So good. Moving forward, Kitsune Sage, Anubis. The Fox Boy, right? They just keep looking better. So let's check out Funky Groove's Bacchus, huh? Hey! My man, he's back. How about Infernal Mace Shock? Got the armor, got the hand, like looking good. All right, this is one of my favorite. Boss Man Danzaburo. He's the boss. He's the boss of bosses, right? All right, how about Batter Up Hercules? There's a classic. Yeah. My boy's got the slugger, dude. Hellion King Arthur? Huh? Yeah, that's spooky. That's spooky. And last but not least, Bunny Babe Nuwa. All right, we got some Nuwa fans. I mean, she's looking good. She's looking good. I get it. So, you know, this is just all of those skins you can unlock for free by working through this throughout year 11. So it's gonna be super cool, and we're excited to give you all of those just to have when Smite 2 hits. So you know you got some skins built up to kick it off with. So next up we're talking gems. All right. So you heard about this yesterday in the keynote, the legacy gem system. So to go over that just with a little more detail, a little more slowly. When you move over to Smite 2, we wanted to give y'all stuff. It hurts, but you gotta say it. We couldn't move all the skins over. 250 years worth of work isn't something that we could accomplish, you know, in 250 years. Like, you know, that's a long time. But we wanted to give you something. And so we're giving you every single gem you have ever spent in Smite back to you to spend in Smite 2 for up to 50% of most purchases. So that's just like a lifetime supply of 50% coupons if you've been with us for 10 years. So we wanted to be able to give that to you. So look out for that. Make sure you're linking your accounts up. There'll be info on all that way in the future. So next up, let's talk about progress through the Divine Legacy event. It's a year-long event, right? So it's gonna take you some time to finish. You might not be finished day one. If you've been playing for a long time, though, you might. I mean, Lermy, you've been in Smite, you've been hitting Smite for a long time. I've heard you tell me stories. So.
I mean, a long time, you know, maybe not as much as Aggro over here, but certainly a lot.
A very thinly veiled old joke from you there, by the way. That's not how I wanted to start my day, too. Unbelievable.
Right. So, I mean, you know, so you're going to have a lot of progress when we kick this off because you hit the grind. You know, you are the God Skin Diamond Hunter. So
yeah, I mean, it's a good time, right?
Yeah. I'm always following the tweet threads every time. So when you get in, if you've played Smite over the last 10 years, you're going to get a lot of this. You're going to get a lot of progress in it. But if you're a little new to Smite, or you're like, man, I want those rewards for Smite 2. I haven't played a lot of Smite 1 yet. Don't worry, there'll be plenty of chances for you to earn your way through this throughout year 11. It seems like a lot. When you're looking at it, it's going to be like, man, that's a lot. But trust me, you'll be able to get through it. We got all of year 11 and a lot of cool stuff to get through. So last thing I'm going to talk about this is called the Legacy Pass. So everything I just mentioned is free, but if you want to spice it up or you're like, I don't know if I'm going to get that last little bit of progress, you can purchase the Legacy Pass. And the Legacy Pass is going to give you a couple of things, first of which is progress towards the event, so you can, you know, unlock some of those free things a little faster if you know, like I said, you need to speed it up. You're also going to get 2 additional skins that are cross-gen. And I'm going to use that word a lot today, so, you know, to re-explain it, cross-gen means Smite 1 and Smite 2. So you'll get it, you'll buy it in Smite 1, and when Smite 2 hits, if you hop over there, you're going to have it there waiting for you. So let's check out those 2 skins, starting with Batty Bat Jingwei. So we got the card art here, right?
Dope.
Got the goth vibes going.
Yeah, I mean, you know I like that. It's a really good look.
You like the goth vibes?
Yeah, I'm surprised.
Are we surprised?
It's a
Are we
shock.
shocked?
Yeah.
What?
I just love the design of this one. I think changing the bird wings to bat wings is just such a cute little twist, and
It is.
love the Halloween vibes. Just so cute. Little cute little get.
Halloween doesn't matter what time of year. Halloween's a good season. Do y'all want to see the Smite 2 render of this? Yeah?
You do.
Okay, okay, I guess they do. So let's show you the Smite 2 render then. Why not?
It looks really dope.
Yeah, it looks so good. So that is the first of 2 skins you're going to be getting. The second one is Untamed Bologna. Yeah.
This is one of my favorites. It's such a badass look for Bologna.
It really is.
And this art too, I mean, they just absolutely nailed it. She's got the fiercest gaze I think I've seen in a hot minute.
Yep.
That's true. And you know what's even cooler? How awesome it looks in Smite 2. Let's check that out. Yeah. That's awesome looking. Bologna has like some of the coolest skins. All right, we're gonna move on from that. So if you want that, you're gonna get those skins, you're gonna get 1,000 gems, and you're gonna get a boost to Divine Legacy. If you feel like you need a little more time, you know, you're like, ah, man, I haven't been able to grind this year. You're like, you know, I know how it is to be busy. So, but again, Divine Legacy is free. That, if you want to do that, you're welcome to. But this is a free event. This is a thank you for all of y'all who have given us the opportunity to make it to year 10. I mean, I'm sitting here on stage living out a literal dream of mine because y'all have been here for years helping push SMITE forward way beyond where anybody thought it would ever be, and now into SMITE 2 and a crazy future that, I mean, even we have trouble like seeing the limits of. So thank y'all all so much for this, and give yourselves a round of applause for that, honestly. Man, I love y'all. I love you. All right, you've heard me talk a lot, and that's how it always is. I'm gonna start moving over towards the stuff that these two can talk about, get into some of the meat of this. So we're gonna move right on. Again, we got the show match tomorrow, and I wanna prep y'all so you'll know what you're looking at as we get over there. So we're kicking it off with relics, recipes, and shards. How about recipes first? We were cooking for a while, but where are recipes going in year 11?
Recipes are being removed. However,
Bye-bye.
Hold on.
Bye-bye. Yeah, hold up.
Wait up.
We're
Bring
not
it in.
done cooking yet.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let
We're
us
not
cook.
in a
Let us
recipe
cook.
anymore.
Let us cook. All right.
Yeah.
So, recipes are being removed. However, we understand that this system is something that you guys really enjoyed. So, instead of recipes, we have altered a couple other systems to include the best parts of recipes.
Exactly. So, you know, the things like those quests that you can tailor to your exact type of gameplay and get a specific reward, well, now instead of needing to select a recipe and have it take up your last item slot and all that kind of stuff, we've got new things like passive shards. So instead of needing to activate an effect in order to get your increased movement speed or attack speed or cooldown reduction, anything like that, you can now get things like, I don't know, golden shard to help you clear the lane a little bit easier.
Yeah.
Don't have to press it, anything like that.
No buttons.
Still get rid of it at level 12 for your second relic, just like previous shards, and just trying to smooth out that type of process.
Yeah, all right, so what does Golden Shard do?
Like I said, real simple for this one. We've understood how much Golden Gooseberries has opened up the meta and allowed different types of hunters, warriors to be able to compete and clear. Now you can pick the Golden Shard, which just allows you to deal 15% of your basic attack damage in an area to gods and 25% to minions in jungle camps. So you could have this from level 1. You don't have to activate it. There's no cooldown. It's just increasing that early clear for you.
Yeah, exactly. This is even useful in jungles with characters like, you know, Baka, where you can get it, but you also want to focus on a couple other things, you know, make that build a little bit faster.
Yep.
You don't have to necessarily go into Golden Blade if you need just a little bit of clear. You know, some characters still want Golden Blade, so of course we are keeping Golden Blade. You could go
it's not going
both
away.
even if you
You
really
can.
want to go AoE clear. So
Stack them up.
yeah, stack them up.
Cool, all right, so next up, continuing the food-themed shards, we have the Sturdy Shard.
Have you guys heard of Sturdy Stew?
I know Sturdy Stew.
That's this one.
Yeah, he played ADC for the Hounds, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, this one's very, very similar. So, as you will tell from the previous shard, this one is going to be the Sturdy Stew effect, which is being hit by a hard crowd control, would pulse around you protections. So essentially, all of these guys have similar effects, but they are toned down a bit because, again, they are always active because they're passive shards.
Which I like. I don't ever remember to hit buttons, you know, so the passive thing's gonna help me a lot. So the last one is Vibrant Shard, also coming from a food origin.
Yeah, this is the translation of Party Punch,
Got it.
basically, where you can get that Party Punch-like effect, but now having it from level 1 without needing to activate it. Again, these shards do not have a cooldown. They are just passive effects that are added
just
to you.
there.
You can keep them past level 12. I don't think that's necessarily the best plan for you.
Oh, especially with what we have coming up next.
Exactly. Yeah, Relic's also getting a little bit of love.
Let's dive into that then. So
Yeah.
relics are changing a lot for year 11, like a lot. So, you know, it sounds like it might be inheriting a system from something food related, as well as maybe being trimmed down a little. So let's dive right into it. What's happening with
Yeah,
relics?
so we talked about the questing aspect being really
questing.
fun. It gives players a really good ability to measure how effective they're being in the early game and beyond, right?
Yeah.
So we
Right.
wanted to kind of translate that into a different system, so we're bringing them to relics. So essentially how this is going to work is everyone is going to be able to upgrade their relics for free throughout the game.
For free.
You can still pay for them if you absolutely want to, but it will be free depending on how you progress through these quests through the matches. So if you're going to be really good at completing your quests, you could get tier 3 relics earlier than 30 minutes. It's going to be great.
You
There you
can
go.
still purchase them for gold. You
Yeah.
know, if you really need those spikes, particularly supports, that's something that
Yes,
they often
that
want
is
to get
very
their
important for supporters.
relics upgraded a little bit earlier. But this, we've really seen how heavily embraced this quest style mechanic
Yeah.
has been for items like Prophetic Cloak and Tablet of Destinies and these recipe shards. So now you don't have to necessarily spend your gold in order to get to tier 2 of beads if you're doing what you need to do, which is for your Relic Quest 1, killing or assisting minions. Then you can just get to your tier 2 of purification beads, get that lower cooldown,
Yeah.
same for blink, meditation, you know, whatever it may be.
Yeah.
And then you'll get to the second step of the quest in order to get from tier 2 to tier 3. So it's a really good way to measure, you know, it's just another way to gain an incremental advantage by playing to what you should be doing, which is something we really want to enforce.
Yeah, and this is something that's going to be different for a variety of gods, right? So
Yeah.
killing and assisting minions, you know, maybe laners are a little bit better at that. Our supports will be able to roam around and go wherever they need to go. So we understand that even between the variety of gods within a single role, we may see some outliers of people that are able to finish these quests incredibly fast. So we will be keeping a very close eye on how this is going to affect games, especially because, I mean, tier 2 relics are actually low-key OP.
They are.
Let's
Yeah.
be
They're
honest.
strong.
Yeah.
They're
They're
so
strong.
good.
Now-
So getting them early, we're going to keep an eye on it.
And I have a question. A lot of relics branch into 2 different options at the end.
Yes.
So how does the questing system, how do you end up at that 3rd relic you want?
So essentially what's going to happen is that we no longer have branching relic systems, and we understand that that is something that people really love. They love the choice. So what we've done is we've created, you know, a couple little shifts to relics that we'll be going through in just a couple minutes here to hopefully combine some of those effects that people love the most. We did a lot of data analysis on which relics people prefer. Some of them were clear misses.
Yes.
And some of them were very, very equal. So we
Yep.
wanted to make sure that when we had those equal choices, we were representing them across the board and making sure those effects that you guys love are still in the game.
Yep.
Awesome. Well, I mean, I guess let's dive right into it and talk about some of these relic changes, kicking it off with Aegis Amulet.
Yeah, Aegis is one of the more clear ones where
Okay.
Aegis of Acceleration and Aegis of Judgment were pretty close actually in their
Okay.
purchase rates, but Aegis of Judgment had a lot more frustration factor, you know, returning that damage, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Aegis of Acceleration just felt a little bit more fair to play against, a little bit more straightforward. So Aegis of Judgment, no longer in the game. You're no longer getting that explosion of damage, and you're just going to get that movement speed whenever you activate Aegis.
We did it for you. All right, so next up, Blink Rune, the aggression one.
Yes, so this is our first one that's getting a bit of hybridization, you might say, between the two.
Hybridization.
So we are going to be keeping Scorching Blink Rune, but because the 2 blinks were so close, we wanted to implement a bit of Corrupted Blink Rune as well into the relic. So what we're doing is enemies that are affected by the burn from the flames, so this is if you're standing in it or you walk away from it, they'll be slowed.
They'll be slowed. Cheer for that. That's pretty cool. Slowing
crazy.
fire.
Yes.
All right, so we're moving right ahead. Seems like another kind of simple one, Bracer of Radiance.
Yeah, Bracer of Radiance, I mean, this one is significantly more popular than Bracer of Illumination. This is one of the most cut and dry ones that we had.
Yeah.
You know, we tried to make Bracer of Illumination work. It wasn't really working, so now we'll no longer be in the game. Your Bracer upgrade is going to be Bracer of Radiance.
There you go.
Just as it is now, incredibly strong, very, very good at what it does, and identifying this area that you want to control and get your strength there. Bracer of Radiance is going to be back and better than ever.
There you go. So moving on, Cloak of Meditation, a fan favorite for me anyway. What's happening with it?
Yeah, so for us here, Cloak of the Ascetic was a very, very clear winner across the board. Cloak of the Avatar was able to enable some really cool plays, but it just wasn't holding up. For your non-Awelixes or whoever's buying it, you know, to get some crazy combos, it just wasn't hitting the same.
Fair
Yep.
enough. Nice and easy. So Heavenly Wings up next. What's changing there?
Yeah, so this is a little bit of a spicy one. We kind of glossed over that in this combination of some relics, we decided that there were some that could do with a little bit of boost, and we could clearly set their identity a little bit better. There is no longer going to be any Frenzy in the game. Bracer of Radiance and
I know.
Frenzy.
I know.
Don't
I
worry.
know.
Oh, give me a sec.
We got
Bracer of Radiance and Frenzy were just too closely tied together. You know,
Okay.
they both did too much of the same thing.
Yeah.
Hastened Wings, on the other hand, hasn't been very popular this year, hasn't really found its home. What if we just combined some of these effects? So now, Hastened Wings will now grant 10% attack speed whenever you activate it, the tier
Okay.
1. The tier
Okay.
2 will also grant 10% attack speed. And the tier 3 of Entangling Wings, or Sprout, as it's more lovingly known, you activate it, you give your whole team movement speed, slow immunity, you root enemies in the area, and you get attack speed.
Told you, we
during
were
that
cooking.
time.
We were cooking. Recipes are gone because we took them all in. We're cooking all of them.
So my Season 1 Hunter mains out there who remember hitting the gas pedal with Sprint, it feels like it's back a little bit.
We're back. We're gas pedaling.
We're so back.
So let's step back for a second. We're talking about all this new stuff, but you just mentioned it. Belt of Frenzy, not going to be here. Looks like Cursed Ankh also didn't make the cut.
Yes, so up next we actually have Horrific Emblem, which is going to go into the why Cursed Ankh is being removed. So anyone remember Creeping Curse from, like Season 3, whatever it might be, something along those lines? Essentially, that's what Horrific Emblem is turning back into. One of the biggest points that we wanted to look for here is the duplicate kind of gameplay. With Horrific and with Ankh, you're both trying to hit as many enemies as you possibly can at the same time. Same kind of idea with Sprout.
Yep.
and Frenzy, right? You're trying to hit as many allies as you can. So instead of making you choose which ally hit or enemy hit one you're going to get, we're just going to let you know I want to hit all my enemies or I want to hit all my allies, and I'm going to do it.
I'm going to do both.
And it's just that simple. So it's a crazy thing to think like the sentence, we're removing Cursed Ankh, because every player who's played against a Hell or a Terra or anything like that, it's like, oh my God, how do we deal with these things without Ankh? Here's the deal. Horrific Emblem has been better than its pick rate for basically its entire existence. It's already very strong. Now gaining that Ankh effect, where it's reducing enemy healing and enemy shielding, in addition to reducing their movement speed, attack speed, and power, I believe.
Actually, the power is gone because we had this in the playtest.
That's right.
We tested it and we were like, well, Horrific kind of does a little bit of everything. So we wanted to make sure that it was a little bit more focused, right? We were getting the debuffing, but not replacing other debuffing effects.
Exactly. So yeah, excuse me, no power removal, but now doesn't have that attack speed slow or power removal. Instead, still does the giant slow, and now gives you that Ankh effect of the reduced healing and anti-shielding.
There's a lot of testing that goes into that. It's like matches and matches and matches. And
yes.
So rock and roll. All right, so next up, another pretty simple one. We got beads on the docket.
Yeah,
or shell, too, actually.
Yeah, shell. Well, Fortifying Shell is great and all, but Phantom Shell, you kind of need it.
Phantom Shell's to go.
Yeah, knew that we needed something to deal with those types of walls, Odin cages, Yamoja ults, all that type of stuff. Fortifying Shell, very, very good at what it did, but Phantom Shell just felt like such a requirement.
And here's the thing, right, is that Fortifying Shell had a really strong effect against basic attackers.
Yes.
Just hold on a minute. We got something for you in just
you
a couple
know
more
we got
games.
you.
We got you.
You know we got
Basic attackers are not running free.
Nope.
All right, so now we're at beads.
Yes.
What's going on with beads?
Beads, super simple. Temporal beads, awesome, super fun, really interesting to use. Chaotic beads, had to get nerfed instantly upon its introduction. Never was allowed to return to relevancy after that.
Yeah.
We don't need it. It's going to be temporal beads all the way.
Temporal beads all the way. Okay, so now we're on to thorns, the give the damage back item.
Is Zap in the crowd? I don't want him to have to hear this. Like, we're buffing thorns, and it's just going to be rough.
Hold on.
It's going to be rough.
You heard it here first. Right there first.
Yeah. Sorry, Zap, if you're here.
So Shield of Thorns is a very interesting one, right? Because it's always a bit between the lines of, is it OP, is it not OP? Is it frustrating to play against? So instead of us buffing or nerfing Thorns in any particular way, we are completely reworking Thorns to work more closely to Aegis of Judgment.
Okay.
So Aegis of Judgment, it had this idea of taking this damage, storing it, and exploding it out.
Yeah.
Great idea. Didn't really fit for backline, was more designed for a frontline type effect. And Thorns already felt very unfair to play against whenever you could just activate it and no one could hit you for that time, and all of a sudden you're doing a billion damage. Now, it does a little bit of the defensive idea. It gives you a defensive buff when you activate it, receiving that damage mitigation. But you also then can explode in that area and deal some extra damage after you've taken up that damage. And it's pre-mitigation, it's all that kind of stuff. Yeah. We just wanted to add a skill element to Thorns, That's the real idea of it, is that now you have to, there's counterplay in, if I can create distance between myself and this enemy who's using thorns, I'm not going to take nearly as much damage as if they can stay on top of me,
Yeah,
which is
and
part
for
of
the
the skill
thorns
check.
user themselves, right, they also get a bit of a buff because before you could activate it at a not ideal time and you kind of just get nothing.
Right.
So now you at least get a bit of mitigation, so there's just more chances for there to be a situation where you're like, yeah, I used my thorns and I used it well.
Yeah, more use cases. And for those of you who are like me and like to build it on Kuzimbo and then go double spikes and just really do all the damage, just dive the backline, you'll be fine. So.
Yeah. One more thing about Shield of Thorns, by the way, is that the
Please.
Tier 1 and the Tier 2 do the normal thing with the cooldown when you upgrade it. Tier 3, we're taking from Thorns of Sapping Strength, which is going to be when you are hit, you get a little basic, any basic attacks on you will do the cooldown reduce moment
The
that was
cooldown
from
reduce
before.
moment.
Yep,
Got it.
exactly.
So if you like
I know how it
cooldown
works.
reduce moments, this is for you. All right, so next on the list, we're talking Sundering Spear.
Sundering Spear has been a pretty clear winner on Sundering Blast. You know,
Yeah.
Sundering Siphon, we all had our fun at the beginning of the year and, tethering to people, but Sundering Blast has been very effective, been very fun to use.
Yeah.
Pretty easy call here. We're getting rid of Sundering Siphon.
Yeah.
All right, easy. So we have 2 more. First, Teleport Fragment. Let's talk Teleport.
Yeah, teleport was another really close one, right? Because there were situations where persistent teleport goes kind of crazy, right? You're just fighting all the time. You're constantly brawling. You want to be able to teleport as much as you possibly can. However, there were times as well where heroic teleport kind of goes crazy. You show up to a fire giant, you teleport behind them. Situations like that where you could really get into the thick of things right away.
Yeah.
That was really, really fun for heroic teleport, which gave it that really cool option of going into it. So we're giving, whenever you teleport with persistent teleport, you get a heroic style buff, just not as strong and for not as long.
Yep, just a little, again, this is one of those combination effects where we're taking a little bit of this and adding it into persistent teleport. You lose that opportunity to use heroic all the time, but we think it'll feel pretty good.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, so I'm going to pull the crowd on this one. We cooked up a new relic. Y'all want to see that? Okay. I think that was a yes. So
I think so.
How about you tell us about Divine Barrier?
Divine Barrier, a brand new relic. It's been a while since we've added a whole new
It's been a
relic
long time, man.
to the game, which is really exciting. We wanted to go with some, relics are uniquely powerful effects that are usually a little bit more niche. You're not always getting crowd controlled, but when you do, you really want purification beads.
Yeah.
You're not always, say, sieging, but when you are, having a very powerful effect there can be really beneficial, or when you're defending against a siege. That was kind of where this idea started, and then we were able to find some really cool use cases outside of just sieging.
Yeah.
But playing around objectives, playing around sieges, that's what SMITE is about, and that's where Divine Barrier comes in. So Divine Barrier is a 40-unit wide wall of Divine Light that reduces the damage of all enemy basic attacks that pass through it by 30%. Additionally, if you enemies that walk through it are slowed. So we didn't want this to be the primary use for it. Horrific Emblem is the premier slow my enemy in combat effect, but it needed to do something besides block these ranged basic attacks.
Exactly. It needs to be applicable for other characters besides the ranged ones. And this effect also gives it that really good zoning tool potential for when you're playing around Fire Giant. 40 units is a pretty sizable range.
That's a wide
You
wall.
could block off a whole section of the pathway in the Fire Giant with Divine Barrier and make room where your enemies can't really walk through.
Yeah, it is a very good space control relic, which we think is something that we've done on the offensive side with Bracer of Radiance, but we hadn't done a defensive, barrier in this way where Divine Barrier comes in. And then it gets even crazier whenever you get that Tier 3, that Blessed Barrier
crazy wall.
being that Tier 3. So of course it's still reducing enemy basic attack damage, but now you can also increase the damage of allied basic attacks by 10%. So a little bit like Thoth Wall, but for your own team's basic attacks. So you can use it defensively, you can use it offensively, and it's gonna be pretty fun to use, I think.
Awesome. I mean, does that sound cool to y'all? Is that all right? Okay.
I'd already heard a nerf
I can hear you cooking on it.
I can hear everyone theory crafting.
Okay.
Yeah.
That sounds pretty good. So, all right, obviously, we just talked about a lot of stuff. We're going to talk about a lot of more stuff. You're going to have to check out the patch notes a little bit later today. They're on their way, trust me. But, it was 28 pages, I think you said, of stuff that we were cooking on. And I'm not talking like double space. Like, this was single space, magnifying glass text, a lot of stuff. So they were cooking, dude. But that does it for our relics. And now we're staying in the shop. We're staying in the items. We're moving over to consumables now. So, I mean, y'all saw the keynote. Y'all told me that already. Y'all saw the new wards. But first, let's talk about Mana Chalice. What's going on?
Yeah, unfortunately, in order to make room for these, we do actually have like a consumable limit that we can only have in the store, but when we were getting kind of close to it, our data showed that Mana Chalice was probably hurting players more than it was actually helping them. Wasn't particularly gold efficient, so Mana Chalice is going to be removed from the game.
Bye-bye, Mana Chalice.
I was worried I was going to get some Mana Chalice fans out here, but it seems like there are some Mana Chalice haters, which, you know, we're right there with you. So Mana Chalice is gone in order to make room for the brand new Proximity Ward and Raven Ward.
All right, and y'all saw those yesterday, right? Yeah? Okay, so we're going to start with the Proximity Ward. What exactly does that do?
So, you know how there are times where you're trying to set a trap around Fire Giant and you're kind of looking for the right moment, but it's kind of hard because you have to pick the moment yourself.
Yeah.
Well, you can also, with Proximity Ward, try and set that trap up yourself. So essentially how this will work is you can place down this ward. The vision range is smaller, but it does last for longer. And essentially, if an enemy walks within 20 units of this ward, they'll be pinged on the map and an explosion will start. So after that 1.5 second countdown, it will explode in a 40 unit radius that will slow and reveal everyone hit by it.
And it'll slow them as well. So it pops up. You do have an opportunity to try and basic attack it down, very similar to the Runic Bomb. Before the Runic Bomb explodes, you can basic attack it. Same with Proximity Ward. But if you trigger this trap and you can't kill it in time, then you and your allies around you will be revealed for a long time and slowed for a shorter amount of time and allow the enemy to try and pounce on you right then. So
that's pretty cool.
It's been really fun trying to hide these in like off-kilter ward spaces because Sentry Wards still reveal these. You can still kill them that way.
Yeah.
But if you can kind of put it in a weird spot, maybe they go to pick up their red buff, and all of a sudden the Proximity Ward triggers, they're trapped, they get slowed, they get revealed for a long duration of time, and you have significant advantage over your
Yeah, in
enemy.
playtest, I have been playing a bit of jungle, you might say. And
Just a bit.
Buying one of these in jungle, throwing it down on a mid camp, and watching the mid set it off, and then being able to go and get the kill, it's so cool.
Yep. And it's also fun to be like, have to be on your toes a little bit, and you hear that, you know, you see it, and then you go, oh man, I got to kill this in time before I get revealed for 10 seconds. So it's been fun to play around.
That's cool. So the next one is super helpful for people like me. I like the Guardians. I like the tanks. And sometimes I'm like, I want to go put this ward on Fire Giant or Gold Fury, but I'm gonna get killed if they're there. Like I don't want that.
Yes.
Raven Ward has been a boon to that. What does Raven Ward do?
Raven Ward is really simple. Odin, you know, has his ravens. They fly around the earth and collect information to bring back to him. Now you have access to his vision through these ravens as well. So it's a 75 gold ward where you can just fire it in a straight line. It will fly over the map. You'll see it very clearly, and it will reveal everything underneath it for a short period of time as it passes over. If it hits a god, it will ping them. They will stay revealed for a short duration beyond when they have just left.
Flies by. Okay.
But it's really great for checking out different corners. You know, hey, I'm playing Kukulkan. My support has somehow died for the 10th time. I have no vision on if I can try and get in there and steal this Fire Giant. How low is it? Raven Ward can clear a path, make sure that I know no one is going to be on that line, give me vision of the Fire Giant. You can see, hey, you know, are they invading? Is the jungler on his speed right now? Can I go over to Gold Fury? Can I make an invade play at purple buff, something like that? I think that there are going to be a lot of really cool, unique uses of Raven Ward because it covers a significant portion of the map. 500 units is not quite global. But it's
a little
close.
under half of a conquest map.
Yes,
it's a
little under half of the size of the conquest map. So you get significant vision in the direction that you're choosing.
That's really cool. So 2 new types of wards for those vision fans out there. If we got any of y'all out there in the audience. Okay. All right, a few people.
Wards.
Maybe
we all love buying them.
Maybe more of y'all should ward, all right? That's what I'm getting from that. So, but super cool. Looking forward to those consumables. Next up is kind of big, though. We're moving from a few items to a system here.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, from what I'm gathering, we're working on lifesteal.
Yeah, lifesteal is one of those stats that has needed to stay relatively weak because of its strength in certain areas. Namely, how strong it is to get a little bit weak in a fight, dip out of the fight, go to a jungle camp, go to a lane, lifesteal off those minions, and then come back. And this is very similar to the way we felt about healing in the Season of Hope, where out-of-combat healing was more problematic than in-combat healing. And we made a lot of
Yeah.
shifts that we think were very successful in incentivizing in-combat healing and not really punishing you otherwise. Lifesteal is going to get a very similar rework, where now you will lifesteal for half the value against non-god targets.
Okay.
So if you dip into the jungle, if you dip into a lane, you're going to get a lot less lifesteal from those targets. But it means that we can put more significant stat power into the lifesteal stat, because it's going to be better in the situations where we want it to be better. So
Got it.
what you can do, what you'll see is that every single lifesteal item has had its lifesteal value increased, because you will now lifesteal for more when you're in God combat,
Okay.
and lifesteal for less when you're out of God combat.
Okay. So, I mean, we like fighting other gods, right?
Yeah.
It's like the whole point.
Yeah, it's like the whole point. Awesome. So obviously, from what I've seen and from what y'all have told me, this affects every single lifesteal item and a god ability in the
Yep.
game, right?
And buff.
And
And
buff.
buff.
And buff. So everything lifesteal
Yes.
has been affected by this. We can
Yes.
spend the rest of my time up here on stage probably talking about lifesteal.
It's a long list.
It's a long list. But that's going to be patch note stuff. Y'all are going to have to go check out all those individual numbers on patch notes. But we highlighted a few things that we wanted to talk about here. So we're going to touch on those now, starting with actually a new item in the
Yeah.
lifesteal category, Crimson Claws.
Yeah, what a better time to add new items than with the whole system rework, right?
And with
That's
a
right.
whole year 11.
So
Exactly.
first up, we've got a new physical option for those who wish to lifesteal called Crimson Claws. This is upgrading from Bound Gauntlet, so same tree as Soul Eater.
Okay.
Yep.
And so this is going to give you some power, attack speed, and lifesteal. And then, of course, the important thing about this item is the passive, which is going to grant you a shield when you heal from enemies at full health.
There you go.
Excess healing, you know, your lifesteal, but you're full. Now you can convert that lifesteal into a health shield. Really good option against some of those dive comps that hunters hate so much.
Yeah, so if you start that engage right, you get the first couple of hits off, all of a sudden, you got a bigger health pool to play with. You can stay in there a little longer, so
Yeah.
super cool. So let's touch over into the magical item area a little bit and talk about Rejuvenating Heart. I hear it's getting a little bit of a tune-up.
Yeah, so Rejuvenating Heart was introduced in the Season of Hope, and
Yeah.
it just never really found a home. You know, it just wasn't really hitting the way we wanted it to. So it's completely reworked. It is the same art, but now, when you lifesteal off of enemy gods, you distribute some of that healing from lifesteal
Okay.
around to your enemy gods. So if you're like me and have a degenerate playstyle of playing Bancroft's Jean-Qui, and I want to blink in and just deal as much damage as I can, try and heal what I can to stay alive, now I can distribute that lifesteal out to my teammates and help them in that way. So it won't work on enemy or minions or anything like that. You're not going to be able to sustain your team through clearing waves or anything, but in combat, if you get a really, really big Hades ult or
Yeah.
a really big Jean-Qui ult, you know, something like that, this can now, you know, Anubis is going crazy with this.
Oh, yeah.
You can now heal your team through your own lifesteal, which I think is pretty cool.
As a big Anubis player, that means the world to me because you know I'm going to be
Gotcha.
out there like getting those damage stats and the healing stats.
Yep.
Yeah, if you're in my games and you'll be carrying me, it doesn't matter. All right, so moving on down the magical item list, we're talking talons, claws, and fangs here. We want to talk
Yes.
about how those have changed. So let's dive into the Bancrofts.
Yeah, so essentially we wanted to bring up these items specifically because they had some inherent lifesteal interactions within their
Okay.
passive, especially for Bancroft's Talon and Typhon's Fang. Those two are like kind of the premier magical
Yeah.
lifesteal items. And for the longest time, it's been very hard to see these guys in some solid builds that we
Yep.
felt that were competitively viable. So we are doing some adjustments here to make sure that they still feel in line, but essentially they're just getting the lifesteal treatment that the other items are, but a couple other small changes.
Okay. So, I mean, that's awesome. We got some bump
Yeah.
ups. And I'm excited to see it. They're good items, they're cool items, and again, as a lifesteal, as Anubis, anything that gives me lifesteal, you know I'm gonna be building
Oh,
up
yeah,
to.
you're loving it.
So that's gonna, again, we didn't talk about all the lifesteal items. There's a lot of them. So if you want to go check out the patch notes, they will be arriving at some point later today. I'd give you an exact time, but then I'd be wrong and then I'd get tweeted at. So keep your eyes open. They'll be there if you want to see all of those numbers, because again, it is so many numbers. Like, these two went crazy. I thought I didn't sleep, like, getting hyped for this, but they were over here like, we got it, man, everything.
Me sitting there tracking down every last individual that had lifesteal in the game.
Yes, that is
Yeah, we have-
literally
Gilgamesh
what we have
has
to do.
it.
We have a,
Yep.
What the heck, man?
Gilgamesh gets to kick things. Gilgamesh is the GOAT. So now we're talking systems that have been changed. I think we're going to stay on that track, talking about systems that have gotten some love. And now we're moving on to items that are great in Conquest and Troll and a lot of other places, stacking items.
Yeah.
Yes.
Stacking items have been a staple of Smite for a
Forever.
long, long time. I remember building Devo's gauntlets 10 years ago, man.
Yep.
It's been forever.
Yep.
Essentially, what we want to do here with stacking items is make it a little bit less troll to build in other modes. That was kind of the #1 point. And #2, we wanted to encourage people to actually fight while these items are stacking up, because a lot of times you're like, I can't really do anything until I get my power spike of finishing my Transcendence, my Warlocks, whatever it might be. I'm not getting my power spike until I'm done. But now you're actually very incentivized with these system changes that we're doing to go and fight while you're stacking as well.
Exactly. It's pretty simple. This is the way I think of it. Do you have a lot of fun stacking Devourer's gauntlets out there? Is that like fun? Yeah, it's fine.
Okay.
It's
How
fine.
about stacking Prophetic Cloak? Is that more fun? Right.
All right.
It's more fun.
It's
to
more
stack
fun.
Prophetic Cloak. It's a
Yeah.
little bit more interactive with the game instead of just last-hitting minions. So now, all stacking items, Devourer's Gauntlets, Transcendence, you name it, you now have to do different things rather than just hitting these gods in order to stack it.
Okay.
And it's set to what those items like to do. So now, these are all the last hit stack items, I should clarify.
Yeah.
Gauntlet of Thebes, still the same. The rest of these, more about god combat.
Yeah. We want people fighting, Year of combat. So, again, I know I'm going to say this a lot, all right? A lot of different things we could talk about here, a lot of different items, and you'll get to see them later. You'll get to see them on your own time, whenever you want. But we're going to bring up Warlock staff to kind of give you an idea of what we're talking
Yeah,
here. So
exactly.
What's what happened with Warlocks?
So Warlock staff has been, kind of in and out of the meta in the past several years, right? I say years because where has it been all this year, man?
Seriously.
I don't
Not
know.
this year.
Right?
So, did you know that Warlock staff in current Smite, it takes 100 stacks
Yes.
for you
I
to
didn't
get
know that.
75 health?
Yes, it is not a lot about. It's not a lot
very
about.
much. So
No.
we're doing a lot of stat shifts on this one in particular, and that's why it's very important for us to talk about. But essentially, Warlocks is a special one because you gain stacks of Warlock staff by taking or dealing damage to enemy minions and enemy gods. And the best part about this whole system is that you gain double contribution towards your stacks by hitting enemy gods. So the more that you're fighting the god in your lane, your jungler, whatever it might be, you're going to be getting these even faster than before.
Got it.
Yeah, it's gonna be. It's not gonna be nearly as grief when you see your Jean Kui build it. I don't know why Jean Kui is my example for every
It's
item,
your
now,
go-to,
but
too.
He's like it.
that's my boy. Now you can build 4th item Warlocks because you can stack it faster because you're dealing more damage during that time. So it can stack up a little bit faster. It allows you to build these items a little bit later sometimes, or time it out to get your spikes at the right time, kind of line it up with the rest of your build. It's been a lot of fun to play test with, and I think people are going to really like it.
Ideally,
like it.
if you're playing about the same as you were before, you should be finishing these items at roughly the same time. We did a lot of calculation and data gathering and
numbers.
testing
Yes.
to try and get these at about the same spot. But again, for those players that want to get active, that want to fight, that want to poke, you're going to be getting these faster than you were before. However, there's another very exciting point that I'm sure you guys saw on the notes there earlier. You can now build stacking items in Assault.
We got it. They're there.
No more fighting for last hits means you can build it wherever you want.
And it's not Troll either.
And
so
it's not
that's
Troll.
Not
All the
Troll.
better. So.
Much better in Arena, Joust, Slash, Assault, all of these different modes. Stacking items now are basically unlocked, so to speak,
Yeah.
literally in Assault. But in all those other modes, they're much better.
Yeah, and again, so cool. From what you said, it's like 2 buffs, and that's not the right word, 2 bonuses. You get to build them in other modes, and you get to choose what slot you want to put them in because it's based on damage. In late game, you're dealing more. It kind of stacks a little faster.
Yep.
So many new possibilities. I'm excited to see how y'all kind of break into this system and really make it powerful because that's what y'all always do.
Yep.
So super cool. Next up, more items. We're still in the item zone, but these ones are kind of coming back from the dead. And I swear, if anybody says shoes, I'm gonna fight. I'll throw my shoes. It's not shoes, and you
It's
don't
not
get my
boots.
shoes.
It's not boots.
It's not boots.
It's not boots.
Sorry, y'all.
All right. So we have 3 cool items coming back. One with a little bit of a rename, starting with Void Shield.
Yeah, you guys remember Void Shield? Yeah, we do too.
It's for you. It's for you.
We do too.
A lot of Void Shield ones.
Not a lot of mage players out there, I see. A lot of warrior mains. It seems.
There you go. There you go.
Look, we've heard the complaints. You know, Warriors obviously have been in a really weird spot at multiple points this year.
That's true.
And this was one of the biggest community requests, was bringing back Void Shield, maybe another Void item of some kind. Impossible
We'll
to
get to
remember
that
which
one,
one
yeah.
that is.
Yeah. Maybe we'll talk about it.
But we still believe that this going with this stat spread, or preventing power, protections, and health on the same item on its base stats is important. It has opened up the jungle meta a lot. We know that it has affected warriors, and we're looking to address that in a lot of ways. But bringing back these items, this is now going to be in the shield tree, just like Gladiator Shield, Berserker Shield, all that kind of stuff. Physical protection, health, HP 5, and now enemy gods will have their physical protections reduced by 10% when you're in the area. So just like before, won't stack with multiples, but giving these divers an opportunity to deal better damage against those targets that are being buffed up by these really, really strong support auras.
Got it. Super cool. So next up, keeping to the Void trend. This one, the name is a little different, but it's something you might know and love. So it's called Void Domaru.
Yes, Void Domaru is actually going to be an item that you might remember.
Okay.
Void Stone. Anyone remember Void Stone?
Void Stone lovers? Okay, we got a few.
Yeah, so this is essentially a reskin of Void Stone to go into the Spellbound Kusari tree, because that's where we had space. We got a lot of new stones last year, and they're really fun.
true.
They're really
Yes,
awesome.
we were capped out on stones. We
love
already
rocks.
have
Too many
4,
stones.
So we wanted to still bring the effect.
Yeah, but essentially, this is Void Stone renewed. So you've got, of course, magical protections, health, MP5, and crowd control reduction, and then, of course, the aura to reduce magical protections. The best part about this, you can build both Void items on any character.
It's true. Anyone can build both Void items now, which
You
is
can
fun.
be one with the Voids.
Yes.
Two of them. All right, so next up, the third item, the last item that we're bringing
Yeah,
back.
we got one more.
Anybody fan of the hammer tree? Anybody like hammers? Okay, some hammer lovers. What about Blackthorn hammer? Okay. Well, it's coming back. Blackthorn hammer.
Blackthorn Hammer is indeed back. One of the big complaints we heard when it came to warrior itemization is that they didn't have a good power first item to go in order to help them clear minions effectively, trade effectively, and maintain that early game strength that they typically have. So Blackthorn Hammer is now there to do that, very similar to what it was before. 35 physical power, 250 health, 200 mana, and that exact same passive of when you're over 25% mana, you gain cooldown reduction, and when under, you gain a bunch of MP5. It's nice and cheap. It's great for trading. It's a good amount of stats. Very straightforward item. Something that Warriors, I think, have been missing.
Awesome. Well, and those are the three items you're going to be seeing coming with year 11, like right around the corner. Once we get back, we'll hit the PTS, but then it's going to be out live, and we're going to be seeing y'all buy those and make them look really good and beat me in my games with them. Stop doing that. So next up, glyphs.
Yeah, we got to talk about glyphs.
Glyphs is kind of a new system still, Like it's been around for a little while, but it's seen a lot of change. It's seen a lot of power. We've seen y'all really take these enhanced items and slot the different ones into perfect builds. But it's year 11, And year 11, every time we hit a new year, and year 11 is a crazy year to be hitting. We take it, we're like, well, how can we make that crazier? How can we make that more exciting? And I think y'all did a pretty good job with glyphs. How about you tell us what's happened in the glyphs?
So, glyphs before were previously limited to only buying one throughout the game.
That's true.
Now, you can buy as many glyphs as you want.
That's 6 of them, even.
You get a glyph, and you get a glyph, and they all have the same amount of glyphs, I guess.
You get 6 at least.
We knew that having a late game gold sync is important. For those rare games that are going to 45, 50 minutes, you need to be able to spend your gold. And with the new relic system and allowing you to upgrade those relics for free through these quests, that was a late game gold sync that players were losing. So we wanted them to have somewhere else to spend that gold. Buying multiple glyphs is a great way to do it.
Awesome. So before we get into, there's a few glyph changes, some new glyphs, but before we get into it, I know 2 of them are not making it on to year 11.
We had to lose a couple to gain some new ones.
Yes.
So it looks like we're losing Envenom Deathbringer and Heavy Executioner.
Yes, both of these items were useful in certain scenarios. For Envenomed, of course, it is a very strong anti-heal options for crit hunters specifically, which was, kind of the problem of that item was that it was only for one certain archetype of hunters and just not helpful for the others. Whereas Heavy XC, it's really good for, your warrior jungles, which, can be very strong in certain scenarios, or your just low attack speed characters that don't really care about the cap.
Right.
So we wanted to make sure that we were kind of spicing things up a little bit in terms of keeping the kind of idea of these items still having really powerful, cool glyph effects, but shifting things around a bit.
Exactly. So we wanted to make anti-heal a little bit more accessible to not just crit hunters, as Remy just mentioned. So that meant moving Envenomed Deathbringer, which we'll get to in a moment, but that means we have a new Deathbringer slot. So
That's true. So what did we put there?
Deathbringer is not an item that you do something okay with. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
its name is Deathbringer. It has one of the most iconic arts in SMITE item history.
Yeah.
So we wanted to really get a little crazy with it here with this glyph, which I think we did. So introducing Devoted Deathbringer.
The Devoted Deathbringer.
It's a brand new glyph for Deathbringer that multiplies your critical strike chance by 1.3.
Cool, right?
And just like Silver Branch Bow pays you for overcapping attack speed, Devoted Deathbringer will pay you for overcapping crit chance.
There you go.
So for each little bit, every 5% critical strike chance you go over 100%, you gain physical power. Circuit players everywhere drooling.
Yeah.
And understandably so.
Awesome. So we have one more to talk about. And the name might sound a little familiar. It's called Envenomed Executioner.
Yeah, so with this new slot that we opened up on Executioner by removing Heavy XC, it's going to be a lot easier for hunters to get a worthwhile anti-heal and anti-shield
there you go.
item. That's it, right?
That's it.
That's the same thing.
Nice and simple.
Nice and simple. Enjoy it. Okay, so another system that was kind of new, class passives. You know, they brought a lot. They were a big year 10 thing, and now something different's happening with them in year 11. And what is that different thing?
Yeah, so we've heard a lot of discussion about class passives.
Yeah.
You know, the ideas behind them we explained pretty well and what they wanted to do, but we've heard the community that they were causing more problems than they were solving. So as a result, in year 11, class passives are removed from the game. No more class passives.
Don't worry about it
whatsoever.
Yep. Like
This
they were never
means
there.
that mages aren't getting their free power, warriors aren't getting their free CDR. We think that this will affect some of the balance of classes. You know, we might see more hunters in mid again. We might see more warriors in jungle again. But that's something that we want to confirm with the data of when the players get their hands on year 11 before we make a lot of preemptive changes in order to get ahead of it. So we're looking forward to seeing what this does, and this is a big community request that we're happy to fulfill.
Yeah, the other thing about it is that this just solved a lot of problems. At the beginning of the year, we had a meta where, like you said, hunters were just dominating.
Yes.
So we needed a way to kind of shift classes around to make sure that they were still having all of that value. So it solved the problem at the beginning, right? But as the meta went on, as various mage items got buffs, whatever it might be, it just didn't really work anymore. These solutions were creating more problems than they were solving. So essentially, instead of continuing to maintain this, play around with it, we want to just make sure that the items themselves are very sound, and no more managing an invisible 10% cooldown, no more managing any of that. It's just going to be your stats are your stats, no worrying about any of the other stuff.
So yeah, and like we said, did it for y'all. Y'all told us, maybe not with the passives, and we dig that kind of feedback. The more y'all tell us, the easier it is for us to shape this into the most fun thing ever, and what's going to be a really hype year 11. So. Okay, so we've talked a lot of shop with balance. It's super cool. There's still more to come. I mean, obviously we got game modes we got to talk about. But let's talk about some of the other content you're going to expect to see. Some of the new events and some of the changed events you might see, as well as some cool cosmetics, starting off with Year 10's Commendation Award. So we've made it through Year 10. This is the kickoff of Year 11. It was an incredible year, and we were super excited to see all of y'all get into the game and help us define these metas and help us create all this cool content. And the Commendation Award y'all saw, I think it was February of last year, so it's been a long time. But now it is ready. For those of you who have played the games, been a teacher, been a teammate, and had a great time, you're looking forward to getting Gilded Glory Ishtar. So a super cool thing that should be coming to y'all with Year 11.
One of the best card arts we've done.
Honestly.
Insane card art.
Insane card
No
art.
bias at all, by the way.
None whatsoever.
Really? Wow, that's crazy.
Nope.
So again, you'll be looking forward to this as we kick off into year 11. So let's talk year 11 though. Let's talk rewards. Who's ready to hit the ranked grind in year 11? Ranked players? Okay. We got some ranked players out there. All right, so obviously, when you're playing ranked, you're going for the rank, you're going for the title, but you're also going for some cool rewards. And there's a good handful of them, but the one we're gonna highlight right here is a new skin. We have Cyber Chief Ravana. And this is your year 11 ranked reward, right?
It's dope.
It's dope.
This skin theme is just incredible. I love all the small details too, and he
Yeah.
really looks badass, man.
I love
Yeah.
the cash money, so I mean, I'm all about it, on that grind. So, well, first off, I guess before I keep talking, might as well see it in game.
Gotta do it.
Gotta do it. Had to do it to him.
Had to do it to him. Just like Robin has to do it to you
Yeah.
whenever he's, fixing your face, so to speak.
Rearranging it in some way.
Yes.
So, for those of you who aren't familiar, the way that these ranked rewards worked is that this skin, once the ranked grind starts, is waiting for you. You know, for those of you who know how to how we do those diamond grinds, and every time we launch a new god, kind of the same thing here. You're gonna grind that rank, you're gonna work for these rewards, and once you hit that tier, once you hit the I'm getting Cyber Chief Ravana tier, it's yours.
Yep.
So rush there if you want. Tweet, day 6 of the new year, like already
Day
got
6. You think it's not going to be done on day 1?
it. Okay, I guess I underestimated.
75 wins is a little not much for day 1.
That's true. No, look, we have some speed runners out there,
Oh,
speed
yeah.
running the W's. So this will be your year 11 ranked reward skin for grinding the ranked grind. So obviously there are other rewards. You can check those out on the update notes when they pop into the world. But I hope you're looking forward to getting this, and I hope y'all are reaching for new heights this year, hitting that year 11 ranked grind.
Yeah.
So next up, let's talk a chest. We have a year 11 chest we want to talk about, specifically the undead chest. And the undead chest has the undead Fenrir, and we got card art for that right here.
One of my favorites from this patch, I do believe. It's
Yeah.
it looks so sick in
Yeah.
game. It looks so cool in game.
He's got a lot of really small, spooky details. Like he's got a lot of bones sticking out places where, they probably shouldn't be showing.
Yeah,
but
typically not.
He's undead, so
He's
he can do
undead.
whatever he
It's-
wants.
He's cool.
Right.
It looks like does he have a lot of little friends in his stomach there? I see
Yes.
those look like eyes. So cool.
Friends.
I just wanted to make sure that I was the right level of disturbed when looking at this. So this will be available with the year 11 update in the undead chest.
Yep.
So next up, we're gonna see it in game. Because you have to. That's how it is.
It's where it's at its best, for
Yeah.
sure. Because these little trails on his hands are really, really cool. I love those.
Yeah, I just love the color as well. Like he's just kind of this almost frozen sort of soul that's come back from the dead to haunt you guys and pick you up and put you under a tower.
Yep.
Yeah, we're really kicking off year 11 with a lot of the goth graveyard vibes. So,
Yeah.
what
What's
is
that?
that? Huh. We'll have to talk about that a little later, I guess.
We'll get to that.
We'll get there. We'll get there. You got to theory craft it. Huh?
They want it broken.
They want
I
it
still let him
broken?
break it.
They want to break it.
I mean, you might as well break it. There you go. How can we say no to that? Come on. Wait, what is that? What is that?
Holy crap.
I've never seen that before. Not recently.
The people love their scepter.
Really?
Say what you will, but you have to admit, people love the scepter.
People love the scepter.
They can't get enough scepter.
All right, and
We'll be talking more about
We'll
that
get the
soon.
scepter later. I have one more cool thing to talk about, though, and it's called the Immortal Honor event. This is a new type of event coming with year 11, and again, it's one of those we're bridging the gap between SMITE 1 and SMITE 2. So the Immortal Honor event is going to last all year. It is an entire year-long event, and it's going to be 2 skins per update. That's 24 skins for those of you who are up way too late and don't want to do math. So when it launches, 2 skins. Next update, 2 skins. You get the idea, and every single one of these skins is going to be part of the SMITE 2 cross-gen system. So if you get any of these skins, the moment that we kick SMITE 2 in and you're on there playing and testing out the beautiful new everything, you're going to have these skins ready and waiting for you already on your account, and we're super excited about that. So that means a lot of things. That means that there are a lot of cool skins you can get. That means there's a whole year's worth of skins you can get. But my favorite part about this, for those of you who like theory crafting, is every skin that you're going to see released is a god skin. and god skins belong to gods. So theoretically, if there's a god skin that's cross-gen for Smite 2, that means that god has to be part of the Smite 2 like opening roster, right? So as all of these skins come out, every time you see one, you'll be able to be like, confirmed Smite 2. So you'll start to get an idea of what our opening roster is going to be.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the first 2 skins that you're going to be able to get with this. The first of which, Firefly Soul.
A really, really cool.
A really
soul
good soul skin.
Really, really cool.
Such
And
a
it's
cool
sweet that
theme.
you're getting it both in Smite 1 and Smite 2
Yeah.
with this event,
Yeah,
which
dude.
is really dope.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see all of the materials in Smite 2 as well, but it looks incredible
It does.
in Smite 1 as well.
It really does.
It really, really does. And, I mean, I'm a fan of the colors. I'm a fan of like that cybernetic mesh the wings are made out of. It's just,
Yeah.
this skin line always has a lot of power for me. So it's super cool. And again, this is going to be part of the Smite 2 system, right? The wings and everything, so cool. Now, I told you already, this is a cross-gen skin. So we have a Smite 2 render of what this is gonna look like when you're over there in Smite 2. Now check that out, right? Now
The
imagine,
materials just pop
Yeah.
like crazy in UE5.
and this is a render, you know? Imagine the effects that you just saw in Smite 2, like all of that in Smite 2, it's gonna be incredible. So
Yeah.
this is one of the first 2 launching with year 11. The next one, I love this one. We have Blobmir Ymir. Look at our boy! He's a blob.
He's just
He's
a
the
little
blob.
guy.
He is the blob.
I mean, you said you wanted the blob, right?
Shout out to the Blob, the real one too.
So, I mean, Ymir, it's hard to make Ymir look bad. You can make him look scary, but it's hard to make him look bad. And look at that friendly face, dude.
He
That
looks
is-
cute.
That is the face
give him
of a
a
very
hug.
kind blob. Look at him, dude.
I love the glow.
I was about to say, positively glowing.
Yes, absolutely.
That wall is just goopy.
I'm gonna say it looks like a booger, dude. That's a booger wall.
Yeah, no rocket jump in Smite 1, but
Yeah.
we'll get to that.
Yeah. So super cool. The sound effects are so fun. Anytime we do blobs, the sound effects are always the best. I wanna see that ult though. Where's the blobby ult at? Awesome.
Ymir go boom.
And a quadra kill. Very impressive. And of course, Smite 2 render right here.
It looks so good.
It looks so good.
Look at him.
Look at his happy little face.
You can really tell.
Yes, this is one of the ones that you can tell the difference.
The
Yeah.
texture as well really reads through
Yeah.
the transparency and the glow. It just feels so magical. It feels like it's actually a bunch of blob.
A bunch
whatever
of
that
blob.
may be.
Yeah. And again, I mean, y'all saw the cool stuff with Ymir. You saw the keynote. The wall is knocking you around. All kinds of cool stuff. So get excited for that. Get excited to play that. So with this event, again, it's a year long, and there's 3 ways you can purchase into this if you're interested in doing so. First up, we got the buy all. You know we always got the buy all. If you want to hit it for what I'm pretty sure is the best price you can get it, day 1, you just click buy all, and then for the rest of the year, you are getting 2 skins every single update. You'll have 24, it's technically 48 skins, because you have 24 in Smite 1, 24 waiting for you in Smite 2. So if that's what you want,
Plus, it's legacy gems, so on top of that.
yeah.
So you're double. You're
Plus,
like
yeah, it's
2.5
legacy
different.
gems. Yeah, because you're still spending gems in Smite 1, which means you hit Smite 2, those are legacy gems for you. It's not
Dude.
like we've already cut off the line. Like, no, that's still going. So there you go. If you're not into it, you're like, I want to see what the skins are. You can do it in chapters. So as we continue through the year, there are going to be checkpoints, and it's like it's chapter 1, chapter 2, and so you can say, hey, I want this chapter. I like all of them in this one. Chapter 1 didn't do it for me. Grab the chapter if that's what you want.
Yep.
Or just buy them individually. It's really up to you. You know, if you're like, that one's great. The other ones, I don't play those guys. That's fine. Pick the one you like. You're good to go. Doesn't matter which ones you get, though. They will all be ready when Smite 2 hits. So, super excited for that. So now we get to go back into game for something.
Oh, I'm excited.
And it's something you might have seen a couple seconds ago and might have yelled and screamed about a little bit too. Y'all wanna learn more about that comet we were showing you?
Little comet action.
A little comet action, a little scepter action maybe?
Yeah.
Yeah, all right, let's do it. Let's check it out. Oh, hey, it's Soul, I know that.
So Newt's
This is gonna get degenerate really fast.
Yeah. All right, well, you gotta break it. You gotta break it. That's
So-
cool. It's like golden experience.
Yeah,
That's right.
so essentially Newt might not be here yet, but her influence sure is. So as you'll see, comets will start flying across the sky.
Yeah.
90 seconds into the game.
90 seconds in. That's quick.
And so they will appear in every lane throughout the match, but one lane at a time, and you'll be able to fight over them with your lane opponents. They get damaged by basic attacks, and once you break it, there will be an interceptor awaiting whoever will stand there.
The last in the circle.
So each little chunk will give you 3 experience and 5 gold. So it does give you some marginal advantage for being the one with the pressure enough in lane to be able to collect those chunks. They'll pop off in your direction whenever you basic attack them, so it won't go towards your enemy.
Okay.
But enemies, if you basic attack it, enemies can pick up the chunks that you create, which is something that you have to be a little bit worried about.
Yeah.
And then once the scepter will last for 90 seconds, and in Conquest, 30 seconds after a comet is killed, a new one will spawn.
Yes.
In a different lane.
They are showing up.
They are frequent, right. So you'll be able to move from lane to lane if you're a support, helping out grabbing those comets. It's really added this fun new dynamic where, I didn't see a comet until the 4th or 5th one. I wish I would have gotten it earlier, or I'm getting tons of comets in my lane, and it's forcing me to fight a lot. It's been really, really fun to play around.
Yeah, when I tell you, as a jungler, I'm looking for that mini-map icon right away, and I am slamming it down to that lane because they're just so fun to fight over, man.
Awesome.
And it's got the monetary reward, it's got the clear reward as well. It's really everything that you could want as an objective to fight over in the literal middle of the lane.
The literal middle? Okay, that's hard to say. So I have 2 questions about this. First of which, what game modes are we seeing in the comment?
Oh, all of them.
Yes.
All
of course.
There's a comment in every game mode. Okay. Does that mean the scepter's in every game mode?
Yes.
Yes.
Whoa, that's a lot of scepter.
Yep.
So the second one, and this is important for me, is what happens if you're standing under it when it lands?
You will take damage.
You'll take some
And get
damage.
knocked back.
You get knocked back.
And get knocked back? Okay.
Don't get bonked on the head by the comet.
Don't get bonked on the head. All right. I am issuing a challenge to anybody who likes playing solo lane, I guess more Gilgamesh in general. If I ever see a clip of a Gilgamesh kick into a comet land for a god kill, I don't know what I can give you, but I'll give you something.
I would be impressed.
Some gems could happen.
I will hype you up because that'd be a play. So take this as a challenge for me. That would be awesome.
Yes.
So we'll be back to Conquest in just a second, but we have some other game modes to talk about, starting with Duel. Now, Duel's kind of gotten this system going that I think y'all should really dive into.
Yeah, exactly. So in 10.13, we introduced a new system that banned out the top 25% of gods in Duel. And so far, the reception has been incredible. It really seems like the meta has shaken up a lot. We're seeing a lot of new gods that we never really got a chance to see before in Duel. And so we're really, really happy with that whole idea. But of course, it's not going to stay the current way that it is forever. It's going to get some changes, shift up between patch to patch. So for this patch specifically, we are employing the kind of strategy to take a look at 10.13 and what gods did really well in 10.13. So we'll be taking the top 12 of those guys and we'll be pulling them into a new ban system. So we've got new bans.
We got a graphic we can show for that.
Yeah, pretty simple here. The top 12 gods in this new Duel format were these 12 on your screen.
Right here, the ones
16,
you can see.
I'm sorry, 16.
Or 16, excuse me.
That's
the top
even
16.
more. That's 4 more.
These gods will now be banned in Duel in 11.1.
Bye-bye.
The bottom 16 gods that were previously banned in the last pass will be unbanned.
They're coming back, okay.
Those will be now available in Duel
right.
in 11.1, these on your screen here. And we're leaving the top 16 gods, the best 16 gods in the game, and 10, 12, and before
Got it.
will remain banned. These are the types of things we will be doing for each update in year 11, where we are going to be, it's not just going to always be this exact same rotation,
list,
because it would be the exact same list most of the time, but rotating this Duel ban list in order to try and keep that mode feeling a little bit more fresh.
Yes, and the important thing is we really want to recognize the tiers of gods as well, because you could argue that these gods that are remaining banned, these are like the S tier Duel characters. So essentially, our strategy is going to change throughout the year of how we're rotating through these S tier characters, because we understand there are some Hu Yi mains, some Anhur mains, people that love to play Kali, Bakasura, whatever it is. We want you guys to still be able to play that, but we want to make sure that it's not going to be overwhelmingly only S tiers back in case you still want to ban them with your 12 bans throughout the whole Duel phase.
Yep.
Yeah, super cool. So Joust is next. I like saying super cool a lot. It's kind of, I'm hearing it the more I say it. So next up we have the Joust map. And the Joust map has kind of a short and sweet change, I think.
Nice and simple. For year 11, Joust will be on the Jade Corruption map.
Jade Corruption is
So,
back. Jade Corruption fans out there?
Should be something that our fans are pretty excited about. This
Yeah,
is one
it's
of
a
our
good
more
map.
popular maps, and we're excited to see the Joust ranked queues be thrown down there.
Yeah,
Be
the important thing to
thrown.
talk about here, though, is that we made a lot of changes to the Sky Joust map that help deal with the anti-tank meta that we were, or not necessarily anti-tank meta, but dealing with the double tank meta by
Right.
introducing some anti-tank features. So what you'll
Okay,
see is a lot of those
okay.
features have been ported over to this map. So
Yep.
we'll see a new Void Camp that's going to be providing some anti-tank as well as updating all of the existing buffs, including the red buff and the blue buff, and the speeds, remaining the same because there's no speed on the other map.
Yeah.
But everybody's getting a little bit of update. The tower as well is still going to be doing protection shredding when you get hit by it. So these features that really help to diversify the dual, or sorry, not dual meta. We were just talking about dual meta, but
Yeah.
Joust meta on a different map is going to be remaining. And also, by the way, I guess we should mention that dual
Okay.
is staying on the Sky map.
There you go.
Yes.
In the skies. So awesome. Now we're moving on to Conquest.
Oh.
Conquest has
This is big.
a lot of changes, and y'all were able to tour some of those, again, with the keynote and with some of the stuff that's happening, but we're going to dive in and talk about some of these really cool things you can expect to use and play with as part of Year 11.
Yeah,
And,
a lot of map changes here for your Conquest. Sorry, go ahead.
No, you're completely right.
just
So,
pumped.
I mean, first off, we always got to talk. Every year, the map gets a little bit of a change in its looks. So
Yeah.
let's start off by talking about that. What has changed visually about the Conquest?
So the biggest change you'll see is, of course, random things across the map have gotten a bit of freshening up. But the big picture changes are all about the bases. We love to talk about the bases because that's where that's where you end up at the end of the game, right? You got to look
Yep.
at something pretty when you're winning, or hopefully not losing your matches. So first thing that's changing is the order base. We had a nice kind of like interior space, which is really cool to see, but we're opening it up a bit. We want to have the night sky be available to everyone to look at, right?
Yeah.
Because of
Yep.
course, Newt's on her way.
Yeah, there's somebody on the
So
way.
we're seeing a lot more kind of celestial influence. The kind of cloth material going through all of the different bases
Yeah.
are going to be a little more emphasized. And then, of course, over on the Chaos side, I'm sure you guys saw it. There's a gigantic lava fall.
The lava fall.
It's excellent. It's so cool.
So cool. And I think one of the best ways to talk about this stuff is to start seeing it in game. So we're going to dive into the map, keep your eyes open for the basins and for some of the changes. But we're going to start talking about some of the camps now. So first up, we just got a camp that's moved around. We have the green buff and the chest camp.
Yes, so previously, green buff and chest camps were not where they are right now. They were swapped.
Yeah.
So in year 11, we have swapped the location of the green buff and the chest camp. This puts green buff a little bit closer to the duo lane, makes that easier for the support to go and grab while remaining in duo, which is something we've seen more and more of as year 10 has continued.
Yeah.
The supports have wanted to stay in lane. Now it'll be a little bit easier for them to do so, which should be really fun. The green camp will also spawn the roaming harpies just like they have been in year 10, but because it was the gold camp, we didn't want those, coming into lane, going underneath your tower, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. All right, cool. So this next part, super, super cool. I'm excited about this one. We all know Chester, Cyclops rogue, hiding in a
Oh, there he
box in
is.
the jungle.
Hey.
There he is. So Chester apparently has a friend who does something a little different than provide you some speed.
Yeah, so we've got Chester 1 and Chester 2.
Chester
essentially.
1?
They're our
Chester
boys.
2.
We love them.
Yep.
So essentially, every so often, there will be a new version of Chester that shows up. So this one first here that you're seeing, same as always, movement speed in the area, and they'll still spawn in the same kind of mechanism where it's going to be equal across both sides. But the movement speed's not the exciting part. There's a new option instead of movement speed that you might see, and we're
Okay.
calling this the Jungle Shop. So very similar volume here that you'll see, but instead of this yellow circle, it will be a purple circle, and inside of it, you'll be able to buy anything from the item shop.
It's an item shop in the jungle. I mean, anything.
Anything.
As long as you can afford it.
Yeah, as long as you have the money for it.
Exactly.
You gotta have
so
the cash.
It won't regen your HP or mana
Yeah, it's-
like a fountain.
Yeah, it's not the fountain.
It won't refill your chalices like returning to the fountain. But how often are we stuck in lane? There's so much fighting going on, but we really want to just be able to buy an item real quick
Yeah.
and then
Refresh
come back
the
to
wards
fight.
or something. Yeah.
Refresh your wards, anything like that. Now with the jungle shop, you can just, you're clearing your jungle, you've gotten enough for your Jotuns, you buy it, you keep on rolling. It is really, really potent to be able to upgrade on the fly like this.
Yeah.
And so we did make sure that it is completely symmetrical, just like the Cyclops camps have always been,
And predictable.
and predictable. So it alternates.
All right.
Excuse me, they had to break it. You had to break it.
You have to break it.
You gotta break it. Nice, it's broken. Excellent.
Excellent.
So it's predictable, like Lermy said. So
Yeah.
your first Chester camp is a speed buff.
Totem!
We got totem. Excellent.
So yeah, speed buff.
Speed buff. Well, the next one will be a jungle shop.
Got
If
it.
the last one was a jungle shop, the next one will be a speed buff. That
Exactly.
it will always alternate on both sides.
Got
Yeah.
it.
The best part about it is it just keeps the flow going, right?
Yeah.
Back
Yep.
into base is kind of the lamest part of my job, as a jungler. If I gotta stop at some point and I gotta go back to base, it gives you a little bit of a reset, right? But you also just want to stay in the action, keep fighting, get those
Yeah.
stacking items rolling, get those relic quests going at the same time, right? So this is just gonna keep you in the flow of action. That's what I was trying to say there.
There you go.
Going too fast.
Awesome. I mean, that's super cool, and I'm looking forward to those jungle games where somebody's like, bro, I never even went back to the fountain, I didn't die, I just bought in the jungle, like, we're good. So I'm gonna be trying that at least. It won't work, but I'm gonna try it once or twice. So next up, cooldown and shield camp. I hear that they're not exactly where they used to be.
Have you seen this map? You see anything different about this map? On the
It
sides,
seems
perhaps?
just a little bit wider,
Maybe, yeah, like there's something going on the
Yeah, a little-
outside edges of the map. Just potentially.
Just a little bit.
Cooldown and shield, previously were in that little corridor right before you got into lane. Something else is there now that impossible for us to say exactly what that is. Yeah,
Yeah.
right here.
Don't know what that is.
What could it be?
Their house got taken over by whatever that is.
By a
so
cool
they had
floor.
to go to a different part of town, which is this outer edge. But it's very nice out here. You get
Me.
this guy peeking at you the whole time. But this is now the new area for the shield and the cooldown camps. So should be a little bit, it's been a very fun area to fight around, just adds a different dynamic to the laning phase, and we think people are gonna really like it.
Cool.
Wait a minute, that's the shield buff. It's so good, but
so
now
good.
it's not in the same spot.
That's weird. And
It's on the outer edge now.
in the spot where it was, there will be some Nagas for a little while when the game starts. Just some
Yep.
fierce Nagas, you can slay them, get XP. But then after 8 minutes, you have this floor here. What does this scary and mysterious floor do?
Well, if you just stand on it and all these align,
Wait.
we
Oh, no, we're in
are in
solo.
solo buff.
You're on the other side of the map now.
Yeah, it's the teleporters.
It's the teleporters. We have teleporters now.
New teleporters on the Conquest map. So like Harrison said, pre-8 minutes, you're not going to be able to use these. They're going to be taken up by Naga camps that are farmable, golden experience, junglers, go get them. Then after 8 minutes, you can stand on the teleporter. After a short channel time, you will be teleported. You and anyone who is on the teleporter with you
On that platform.
at that time, even if they have just stepped onto it,
Think of it like Horizontal.
Kind of like a horizontal.
much like a Horror Assault, will be teleported over to the other side of the map.
Looks
They're-
pretty quick, too, the across the map jump.
It goes quickly, for sure. You can see a debuff there on the bottom right that's counting down around 70 seconds. That's the debuff until you can use the teleporter again.
Yeah.
You can't just pop back and forth, side to side, over and over and over again.
You almost forgot your job.
Necessary intermission.
Yeah. The scepter is back. All right, we can keep going. Scepter's back.
Now you can get back and forth, make a play on the duo side, teleport over, do fire,
Yeah.
things like that. There is also a very loud warning sound, and you are revealed on the minimap whenever that happens. So
Yes.
if you're
Not
paying
even much when you teleport, right? Anytime you're standing on this pad,
Right.
you'll be revealed, right?
just
That's why it's
a
so
sight
important that all this other space around it, it's only the gray area with the purple stripes in it. That's what's going to reveal you if you're standing on it. Every other space is safe there. So if you're trying to gank, trying to get a little invade on the purple buff, be a little bit careful about where you're standing. Same idea in solo lane. Just watch where you're standing, or else the enemy's going to see you.
and potentially hear you as
Yeah.
well because of that loud sound. And that should give you some good warning that
here we go.
something's going on.
Oh.
Which Chester might this be?
I wonder what Chester this is. That looks purple.
Ooh.
There it is. So now you can
It's
open
the
up
item
your item
shop in the jungle.
buy your Brawler's Beat Stick. Doug is particularly rich in this instance, so he
true.
could buy a lot of items, but you
Yeah.
can use it as many times as you want while it's up as
Long
well.
And
as
they're
it's
active
open.
for 60 seconds.
You have 1 minute, so it's quick shopping. Wow.
You guys are just bullying Doug. and
We
doing
have
what
so
you
many
want.
new relics, and you're leaving without a. How about we get the new one?
Yeah, we could get Divine Barrier. kinda
Divine
show-
Barrier might be a
show
pretty
what it
cool
looks
relic.
like.
Yeah.
Oh, there it is. Okay. All right, let's see what it looks like now. That's a big barrier. That's 40 units.
Very wide. Like we
Very
said,
wide.
Really good at cutting off a choke point. Any enemy basic attacks that pass through that,
Less damage.
dealing less damage. Your basic attacks that are passing through that, dealing more damage.
And a slow if they try to chase you. If you're running away in the jungle, like maybe you didn't quite steal that fire giant, throw up the wall and bail. They have to walk through it. They're like, nah, not today.
And this is incredibly good in sieging too. You just throw this in front of your tower,
Yep.
and they're going to be doing less damage to it.
Yep. You
Super.
can jump over it. It's like a Giannis threshold.
Yeah,
you know, like
yeah.
you can jump over it to not get slowed, things like that. But
Yeah.
it works pretty well for those types of engagements.
Awesome, awesome. Okay, so we have a lot of Comet lovers now, some Scepter fans. Anybody like the Beacon? The Beacon cool? Yeah, a little bit cool? Okay, I've asked y'all a lot of questions, I'm sorry. So the Beacon is still here, but it is not the same Beacon you know. The Beacon has had some changes.
Yeah, so essentially, the last year since we introduced the Beacon back in the Season of Souls, it had one pretty clear purpose of unleashing the Titans.
Yeah.
Titans are tired now. They fought a lot.
They fought a lot.
They're going to hang out in the base for now.
They're
But
easy.
instead of unleashing the Titans, there's a brand new reward for capping the Beacon, and this is the Stygian Barrage.
Okay, that's an intimidating name. What does the Stygian Barrage do?
Well, you see all those pesky enemy towers that are kind of in your way.
Huh. That
Yeah.
has less health now.
The Stygian Barrage will deal damage to all, or the first available enemy structures.
The
So
like
if
active structure.
Exactly. The
Okay.
tier 1's up, it'll deal damage to the tier 1. If the tier 2 is the furthest one up, then it will deal damage to the tier 2.
And even
Okay.
to the Phoenixes.
And even to the Phoenixes.
All right, thought we caught y'all lacking, all right? There we go. Good.
They stay ready for the
They stay
comets,
ready.
for sure. So that damage will increase as you cap more and more beacons. So
As
that
it's-
didn't deal
okay.
a lot of damage right now, but by the time you're firing off the third Stygian Barrage, it will deal significantly more damage to those structures.
Okay.
Yep.
And it can kill towers. It can be a way to
can just
clear out
finish
the
them
way, never hit a tower, but get all the beacons. Maybe you can deal enough damage to take one down. It will not, however, kill Phoenixes. It can put them to very low HP, but fire minions are such a potent advantage. Making your Titan exposed is so scary. We didn't want to have you not have to be there in order to kill a Phoenix. You're going to have to put yourself in at least somewhat of a dangerous
Yeah.
position
Yeah,
to do so.
I mean, having a Phoenix down opens up the win condition for the other team, right? So we wanted to
sure.
make sure they still had to earn it a little bit. Phoenixes won't go under 10% health, even if they get hit by a Stygian Barrage that would kill them.
Okay.
Yep.
That's super cool. So you mentioned that it stacks. Is it, if I am the team that gets it all 3 times, I have the best zaps, or
Nope.
does it just keep stacking as you
It just
capture?
gets increased no matter who gets the beacon.
Okay.
It's just always going up to that third stack, and then it will continue to do that third level of damage indefinitely.
As long as there are things to zap. So cool. That means first one, maybe you're not ready to leave lane. You don't fight about it as much.
Yeah.
By that third one though, that's a team fight. That's a team fight on site. So
Oh yeah.
Yep.
super awesome. I always like the beacon because I like the time to go fight in the mid lane. So super excited. And last but not least, we can't not talk about the rock star of the Conquest map, the Fire Giant.
Of course.
Yeah, Fire Giant, I mean, the Titans are a little bit sleepy. They don't want to get unleashed anymore, but the Fire Giant is just getting started still. So he has a brand new attack for your 11 called Firefall. It'll be a giant beam of light
Yeah.
that comes down from the sky and follows the targeted god until the move is over, knocking up all gods in the area if it expires. So it'll be in the flow of the typical Fire Giant
Yeah.
fight, but it'll be this really cool, I think it was shown off in the keynote a little bit as well.
It was.
When you get that Firefall animation. It's awesome.
Yeah, it's partway through. It's a bit of an extended engagement here as this poor Ratatosker tries to solo the Fire
Oh,
Giant.
there it is.
Yeah.
Oh, there it is.
So it'll track you around and then knock up anyone who's around you whenever it's done. So you can use this to do some pretty special things.
And what's that?
Set up,
That's weird. That wasn't there before.
it's like a little totem.
Very healthy looking
An
rock.
effigy, you might say.
Some would say an effigy. Tell us all about the effigy here, Lem.
Yes, so the effigy is now a new feature that spawns when the Fire Giant hits 85% of its health. The effigy has 750 health and no protections, and it can be damaged by both basic attacks and abilities. When the effigy is destroyed, the fire giant takes 15% more damage from all sources. So be careful when you're killing it, because that includes your enemies too.
Yeah.
Yes, it just exposes the fire giant to taking more damage, so it's a great way to burn it down, things like that. But I think the coolest part of this is trying to really get that raid boss feeling for the fire giant.
Yeah.
Its own attacks damage these effigies. So if you can pull the fire knockup into where that effigy is, it will destroy it and end up making it take more damage during that time.
Okay.
I mean, we got it.
It's broken. All right. Well, we talked a lot of Conquest. There's a lot of really cool changes, and I think I always love seeing these changes when we play test them. And when I'm learning about them from these two, because like these two are teaching me stuff all the time. But I think my favorite way to see them is when we let the community get in and really take them for a ride. Like,
that's the fun part.
Yeah, y'all always find stuff to do that I would never think of, and it's always super cool. I am on Twitter scrolling clips being like, bro, I'm about to go try that in my Conquest game. So super excited for all of y'all to see this tomorrow with the Year 11 show match, but also to get your hands on it as we move into Year 11 later this month. So we have one more thing to talk about, one more piece of content, and it's kind of the evolution of battle passes going into Year 11. So because we have all this cross-gen stuff going, we wanted to kind of change the way that our battle passes have worked. For Year 10, they were much bigger. They lasted longer, they had more levels, they were huge. But Year 11 is going to be a little different. First of all, I'm going to say this again, every single skin in these is going to be part of the cross-gen system. So not only does that mean that you'll get both of them, SMITE 1 and SMITE 2, whenever you have them, but that also means that this falls under that, like, oh, Battle Pass skin, that confirmed God for SMITE 2 roster, so you can keep your eyes on that. The way that they are changing is that we're now calling them cross-gen passes. They're going to be a lot shorter, but they're only going to last for one update. So every single update, we will have a new cross-gen pass, and if you would like to, if you want it, if you buy it, you will get, or work towards getting, you got to complete it, of course, because it's a pass. You're going to get the 2 new skins for every different pass, every update that will be, again, both in SMITE 1 and SMITE 2, which is cool. It's basically 4 skins for every single one that you actually partake in. So it's a really, really cool system. And it's kind of our way of keeping things fresh, of changing things every update and following this update to update flow. So we're excited about them. Now to get into the skins that you can look forward to seeing, we have 2 of them, starting with Blighthound Anubis. Anubis! Spoopy Anubis!
Very dope.
Very dope.
Yeah, this skin is scary, cool, intimidating, epic, awesome, amazing.
All of the above.
All of the above. A lot of check boxes. So,
oh, gotta be.
Like with all of these, worth going in game to see. Look at the cloak, dude.
I know.
We actually have brand new tech for this that was pioneered very recently, and this has some cloth sim going on in the engine here. So this is very different than other cloth that you'll see in the game. It moves procedurally with however you're moving. If you're jumping, it jumps alongside you. If you're going left, it's also going that direction as well. So it'll really feel a lot more realistic.
That is, I mean, to me, it is always so awesome how. I love that I get to say this now, because I've been thinking it for a lot of patch notes. Our team has been working tirelessly on SMITE 2. They've made so much progress on SMITE 2 in a completely new engine. And at the same time, like Lermy just said, they're still pioneering tech in SMITE's original engine, in Unreal 3. Like, we just made a new simulator for cloth to follow around, and like, the fact that we can innovate in so many different spaces, I will never stop being proud of our team. So like, please, a round of applause for how amazing the Titan Forge team is, because they deserve it, especially these 2, everybody. Thank you, because, I mean, honestly, my job is I get to talk about how awesome they are, and I would feel so bad if they didn't get that. So we have one more skin. I'll stop gushing now, it's hard. But before that, you know that we have to check out the SMITE 2 render of the Anubis skin. Look at that, dude. Look at those eyes.
So sick.
So sick, dude.
I just love the emissives going on here, the glows and the eyes and the skull. It just really brings it to life, man.
It really does.
It really does. Man, dude, I am so excited. Myself, I'm so excited to like get in and start playing with these in SMITE 2, because it's going to be really cool. So we have one other skin to talk about with the new cross-gen pass, and that's Dawn Spirit Yamoja. Yamoja confirms SMITE 2. That's Yamoja. She's a spirit.
This skin's cute. I love it.
It's a very new look, too.
Yeah, this is one of my favorites from this update for sure.
Yeah,
Little puffball friends. It's just, they're so cute, man. They got 2 little eyeballs. They're just hanging out.
And all, like, you know, all the birds, the spirit birds. So let's
cool.
let's look at it in game.
The colors just pop, and that's in Unreal 3. Like,
Yeah.
imagine what it's going to be doing in Unreal 5.
Oh, imagine what the water is going to look like.
I know.
Oh my god.
Oh,
It's going to be incredible, but this skin itself already is incredible, and
Yeah.
you can really tell.
I love that like pink to blue kind of pastel vibe. It's so nice. It's almost calming in a weird way.
Yeah. She'll be crushing me, but it'll be in a vibe way.
Yeah,
You know?
crushing splat. Right? Thank you. Man, I'm loving being up here. Right? It's pink lemonade, actually.
Delicious.
Yeah, absolutely delicious. So
It does look a little
super
yummy,
cool.
huh?
Your emoji
I love
confirms
it.
Smite 2, and man, just so cool for it. Of course, you get to see the Smite 2 render. We already confirmed it. Might as well show you what it looks like.
Mm-hmm.
So, and it's just.
This
Right?
one, the texture really shines.
Yes.
You can tell the difference between each kind of cloth that Emoji's wearing. You can really see the kind of boniness of the horns. It really does give you the texture that you're really looking for. And I mean, the little puffball guys are so cute too.
Yeah.
They got
Yes.
even cuter.
And then, like you said, you have the water effects that are going to be, handled in UE5. You have the lighting that's going to be in the map, which is already looking so cool. And people are like, oh, it's only going to look better. Like, it's incredible. So I look forward to seeing this stuff as we continue
I can't wait to play it.
I super agree. And again, so that is the cross-gen pass, the first of 12 that you'll see, one for every update throughout the year, as we continue on this Smite Year 11 journey. And we've talked about a lot of stuff here. Like, how excited are y'all two for Smite Year 11?
Can't wait. I think
It's
that,
been
these changes, we just kind of sat up here and talked about them so much that it's hard to really grasp how it feels whenever you're playing it in game. But in particular, I think the relic changes and getting those upgrades gradually throughout the game automatically changes so much about how the game feels and has really added a lot to how it feels. So I'm
Yeah.
really excited about it.
The relics themselves also are going to be really fun too, because
Yes.
you're getting a lot of improved and changed relics beyond that. So hitting those tier 3s is going to be more fun than ever for so many different kinds of characters.
Yep. Well, kicking off a new year is always a wild time. I'm obviously super excited about it. So that's how they feel. How do y'all feel about Smite Year 11? Okay. I'm liking it. They sounded more excited. They did better. Y'all did better. Sorry.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
Well, cool. So we went over a lot. Smite 2 is on the horizon. Smite Year 11 is here, but we're just so excited. I couldn't be more excited. I keep saying excited because I am jazzed. I was backstage pacing, super happy. So yeah, I guess, I think we have a little bit more time. You want to talk about dive into a few items while we're still sitting up here?
Yeah, we've
Yeah,
got
of
a
course.
couple
All
to
right.
go through.
Again, we're not going to go over everything. Y'all got update notes for that. But we got a few that we thought would be cool to talk about. Starting with just getting into items. So Mannequin Scepter and kind of that line. What's going on there?
Yeah, so essentially we wanted to do a slight pass on the jungle starter. So for the longest time, Mannequin Scepter has had a basic attack-oriented passive.
Yeah.
But the item itself had protections on it. Meanwhile, Eye of the Jungle, a protection-oriented passive.
Yeah.
But that's the one with attack speed. So we're doing a little swap-a-rooney here. We've got attack speed on mannequins now.
Okay.
And instead, on Eye of the Jungle, you're getting protections.
Got it. And so that, I assume, plays into as you evolve up?
Of
Yeah.
course, yep. Yeah, Mannequin's Hidden Blade going to be doing something very similar. Mannequin Mace doing something very similar. This is just making it a little bit more in line with what those tier 3 upgrades want you to do as well. So it
Exactly.
should be pretty interesting. I mean, Mannequins has been relegated to the doldrums for a while because of its warrior jungle potential. So we'll have
Yeah.
to see if this makes it a little bit more appealing for the Arachnes, the Bakasuras, wanting those basic
It still
attack
is more
oriented
expensive
builds.
as well.
Exactly.
Okay.
It still has those downsides.
Got it. All right. So let's talk Shogun's Kusari next.
I mean, this is going to be a group of items.
Yeah,
up
that's
next,
true.
right?
It is a
So
group of items.
Yeah.
We've read the Reddit threads. We've skimmed through. We understand that there is a lot of cooldown in Smite right now. So these next couple of items that you're going to see, we are removing cooldown from essentially 4 items
Yep.
across the board. We want it to hit the different niches across the board as well. So
Yeah.
you'll see a tanky item like Shogun's Kusari is the one that's losing cooldown, gaining attack speed instead. This is on the actual item stat itself as well. So the user of Shogun's Kusari is getting a little bit extra beyond the aura itself.
Got
And
it.
then up next we have Transcendence, which
Yeah.
is instead, this is maybe the biggest one out of all of them, to be honest with you. This
Yes.
is getting 10 physical penetration instead
All right.
of the cooldown.
Transcendence hits a little bit. Okay.
Some flat pen to help make it compete with Devourers. Gauntlets Devourers has been really, really meta for a long time.
Yeah, yeah.
Transcendence hasn't really been able to match that. Again, in an effort to remove some of that cooldown, as we've heard the feedback that it's too present in every build, it's too
Yeah.
easy to get, taking it out of some of these items here.
Awesome. I mean, that sounds cool. So gods are next up. We have a few of those that we kind of want to highlight. And, well, I guess actually I jumped the gun a little bit. Potion of Power? Same
Yeah.
thing, right? Just,
Yep.
Yes, so for
Exactly.
our magical DPS item as well, we had Pythags.
Yeah,
that was just getting a
Pythags.
bit of a shift. It's also getting the life steal treatment. Sorry, we're skipping around a little bit. But Potion of Power is the fun one, right?
Yeah.
So, you're building, right? You're getting to the end of the game. You've got that extra 500 saved up. But you've already built 40% cooldown.
yeah,
Yeah.
You're stacked. You're there.
I've wasted my cooldown. Or, either way, you're building 30% and you're like, yes, I've got my 40% at last. I'm having a great time. But then I run out of Potion of Power and I don't have 40% anymore.
Right.
So no more of this managing this extra cooldown. Instead, it's going to be a little bit of extra penetration again. And you might see double pen and go, oh my gosh, that seems like a lot, right?
Yeah.
This is the end of the game. This is going to be the point where you really want to be getting through to those squishy characters if you are a damage dealer, or if you're just DPS versus DPS, it's
Yeah.
going to be helping you out against towers, objectives, anything that's going to have a lot of procs. It's going to just speed up the end of the game. And again, you're not going to have to play that game of what cooldown percentage am I actually?
Yeah. Awesome. So, like you said, I skipped around a little bit. Reading is really hard, actually. And Pythags.
Yeah, Pythags is the other one that's losing some cooldown reduction. You know, it was obviously the centerpiece of a very hot topic build in the mage solo build.
was,
so
it was.
removing its cooldown reduction, giving it a little bit more base power and a little bit more base HP in order to compensate.
And that's on top of the lifesteal changes that I got earlier as well.
Correct.
A
Correct.
lot of
yes.
changes, a lot of tweaks.
Yep.
All right, so now we're jumping into Godland, and Fafnir getting a little bit of a touch.
Yeah, Fafnir is one that we've seen a little bit so far this weekend, but not
Yeah.
too much. And again, these are not all the item changes or all the god changes.
By
These
far, not
These
all
are just a small little tidbit.
Yeah, this is just a little bit.
Fafnir Coerce, increasing that self-heal. This is something that at first was just a little bit of a, you know, it's there, but it doesn't, you don't really feel it. We want you to actually feel this Coerce self-buff a little bit better.
Okay. I mean, yeah, that's awesome.
He's a
Fafnir-
greedy guy.
He's a
Like,
greedy
he
guy.
wants more for himself.
A little more
Exactly.
healing for me.
95 health at rank 5, when that's
Not a lot.
That's not very much. That's
No.
not a lot at all.
More healing for me. All right, so Merlin. I love Merlin. Got all
this
the
is
different
exciting.
elements and changes. So what is exciting with Merlin?
So Merlin's been a little off and on, right? He's just
That's fair.
a very solid all-rounder, but sometimes it's a little bit difficult for him, especially to kind of transition to that point where he is out there spamming abilities, doing all that good stuff that you
Yeah.
want to be doing as Merlin. So this buff specifically is for his early game, just allowing those high-skill players to be able to swap stances more often and be able to use fire into ice or ice into arcane or whatever combo that
get
you want
those
to
combos
use.
out.
It's going to be a lot easier for you to transition into them and out of
Okay.
them throughout the game.
Awesome. I mean, love the stance changing. That's the most fun part is, all right, I pull them all in. Now I got the fire. It's just, love that. That's
Yep.
honestly, that'll make, okay, I'm excited now. This one's an OG, one of like the first gods I ever really got acquainted with back when I started playing Vamana.
Yeah, Vamana, we remember what Vamana was like at the beginning of this year, right?
Yeah,
It was a big baby doing a lot of stomping.
Big stompy
Stompa,
baby.
stompa.
Yeah.
Colossal Fury in particular needed to get pretty heavily nerfed before people were willing to move off of it, but we feel like there's been enough time, the meta has shifted enough, and it's clear that we over-nerfed him a little bit in those instances. So his passive, Sleeping Giant, we're increasing the attack speed conversion from 10% to 15%. This is the amount of attack speed he gets for protections that he builds,
Okay.
particularly physical protections. And then Colossal Fury, that ultimate, the base duration is increasing from 4 seconds up to 5 seconds. And he's
right.
also getting a little bit more max duration as well.
Yes.
This ability just felt like it was canceling too early the vast majority of the time.
Okay.
Now you'll be able to be big baby mode for a little bit longer.
Yeah,
More
we
Stompa.
definitely were a little harsh on him in the
Yes.
first time. There was a lot of feedback that It was a little oppressive at the time. So we're kind of going in a nice in-between, and we're
Yeah,
hoping that this
kinda
sticks.
meet in the middle a little bit. Awesome. Hey, I love that because that ult is really fun. So next up, and it has to be said this way, it's just a rule. Bake Kujira.
The whale.
The whale.
Yeah, there's been a
We
lot
love
of
the
talk
whale.
about Bake Kujira.
Yeah.
This is not a whale buff. Let's put it that way. We've heard the feedback. He's a little bit strong.
He is pretty strong.
We're decreasing the protection conversion that he gets by 5%.
Okay.
So
Apparently that was something they wanted, I guess.
it was by far the most community suggested change. We agreed that he was overperforming a little bit. Now building that defense, he'll deal a little bit less damage on the back end. We still think that, you know, his strong lane identity is important to maintain
Yeah,
his,
of course.
you know, strong lane identity. And he's team fighting well, but it is vulnerable, and it's one of those gods that we think should be more vulnerable as people learn how to space against him properly, all things
Yeah.
like that. But
Especially
he
when
was
he gets into the ranked scene, it's
Yes.
going to be very different.
It's going to be very
he
different.
just was going whale mode a little too hard.
He was going whale mode.
Too much.
And we needed to tone it down.
Awesome. Well, guys, we did it. We talked about year 11. We talked about SMITE 2. Were y'all excited about what you heard? Yeah? Okay. That's good. I like that. I'm going to go home and, like, I guess not sleep because I'm going to be thinking about this for the rest of my life. But it's super exciting. You know, we're right on the cusp of what is it? I mean, year 11 for a game is a dream come true for a lot of the people at the studio. And it's because of y'all. It's because that we're able to come out here and host these events because of y'all. We're working on SMITE 2 because of y'all. So we're excited to keep bringing you into the fold in year 11, to keep making the game the best thing it can be for you, to bring y'all into SMITE 2 when we start kicking that open so that y'all can help shape this into the best version of the game that it could possibly be. And excited to keep doing stuff like this for y'all in the future. So first up, let's give Aggro and Lermy a round of applause for being out here and doing all this hard work.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, they deserve that and so much more. There's about, I don't know, 100 people, every person at the company. If you see somebody walking around with a staff shirt and you feel like, just say thank you. There's people that have been working so hard to get this done, to make this a reality, and to make this one of the biggest SWCs ever, with the games you're about to see a little later today, working into the World Championship finals tomorrow, and everything going on. It's been the culmination of a lot of manpower, but even more love for this community, for this game, and for bringing SWC together. So I could probably spend the next 45 minutes gushing over everybody that I work with, but I'm not gonna do that to y'all. We got some SMITE to watch. So thank y'all all for letting me come up here and do this update show on stage and do it, I don't know, for like 2 years now for everybody. And I look forward to seeing some more SMITE later and some SMITE 2, right? Yeah.
Absolutely.
All right, well, we got the show match tomorrow, but we're gonna go to a break right now. So thank you, everybody. Bye.
Bye.